What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Off the Couch Boxing. I'm your host, Rexx Ruger. That, of course, is the Alexis Arguello puppet. My guy's about to be in here. Y'all know how we do here, folks. The most amazing and real boxing conversations anywhere on planet Earth. Legends, luminaries, world champions, and fighters on the come up. They're coming here to chop it up with your boy, Reckless Rexx. My last episode had this guy in it, and that was what was great about my last episode. Wait, I'm getting some feedback from the, that might be you.
Yeah, it might be my headphones. Let me turn my headphones off.
So that was pretty crazy, Keith. That was pretty crazy because I was literally ending my other episode. And hey, who knows, man? Maybe this will start a future fight. You jumped into my episode that I hadn't even finished yet. So you might have to see Ezri Turner. I don't know. Do you know Ezri?
No, I don't.
Yeah, he's a different weight class anyway, man. Hopefully he won't mind you making a cameo at the end of his episode, man, because he was already off, and I was doing my little outro, like where I sign off. He was already out of the room or whatever. I was doing my little thing, and then in pops you.
I'm sorry. I didn't know it joins it in.
No worries, man. No worries. As a matter of fact, Ezri's such a great young guy, man. I think he'll see I think at the very least he'll appreciate the enthusiasm of you wanting to get back into the conversation or whatever, man. So listen, I love it, man. Plus I'm not very slick with the technology, so I won't edit that out. More so because I don't know how.
I got you.
That's staying in the episode, man, because I've had a lot of hiccups, technical issues. I leave everything in, man, just because you got to keep it raw and real, right?
Yeah, I got you.
For posterity's sake. So, but I am glad to have you on here, man. And oddly enough, I have had your upcoming opponent on here a couple times. You are about to have a fight with Albert Bell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Too bad we couldn't have coordinated this and had both of you gentlemen in here. That would have made for a fun episode.
Hey, I wouldn't mind it.
But I got to say though, man, I believe from having talked to him the last time that he is fairly new to the lightweight division. Have you been campaigning at lightweight for a while?
No, I'm actually new too. We're both one fight in.
Okay. And so what was the impetus for you moving up? Did you just feel like you outgrew super featherweight?
Excuse me, I'm moving down. He's moving up.
Okay. So you're coming down from what, 140?
Yes. Yeah, I'm coming down from 140 to 35.
Okay. Is there a specific reason as to why you're coming down?
Yeah, when I took a loss, more to the business or politics side, but nevertheless, it's on my record.
Yep.
And I'll spin the block and get that back later.
Yep.
Whenever the time's right. I had on contract it was 143, and my opponent ends up making the weight at 142.6, dry as a raisin.
Yeah.
And I'm like 139, 138 on a full stomach. The day we had to eat, I ate as much as I could. I was only about 146. He was about $170.
Yeah.
So, even though we were advertising, well, he no longer can make 140 for sure because he couldn't make it when we were trying to advocate ourselves as 140. Nevertheless, I did take it. And, I seen that 140, I could still be comfortable. But when I found out that I was making 138 on a full stomach and I got advised, to try to go down, it's like, I can do that easy then. And so now for my legacy, I want to be able to capture something at 135, which is a hot division, which I can make. I'm not killing myself. I'm on a full stomach.
Yep.
So I've had one fight since then, and that was in March, and I got him out of there in the 5th round. Albert Bale had one fight. I don't know. I think it was 2 months ago, and he didn't stop his guy.
Right. So you feel that fit. So that must give you some sense of confidence then.
Well, yeah, I'm a confidence. The attributes of being a confident person is for sure within me, no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter his performance or my performance, you're gonna have to kill me in there. I'm trying to take your life, and you're gonna have to try to take mine.
Yeah.
So,
how early did you get into the sport? When did you first get a pair of boxing gloves on?
On a professional level, or
Yeah,
just
yeah, or just in general, in life.
I was born into it. You know, I have a father, Michael Hunter Sr.
I've had
And
him
then
on. I've had him on a couple times.
okay,
I've had him on the
well,
podcast.
we probably had my brother maybe. My brother is number 2 is Michael Hunter, number 2. So I have a senior, and then I have a brother number 2,
Okay,
and
wait
they're
a minute.
both
So,
Michael Hunters.
all right, wait. So who's the heavyweight to beat Martin Bacoli?
That's Michael. See, you probably got my dad mixed up
Yeah,
with
okay,
my
so
brother.
that's who I. All right, so who is he related to you then? The one that beat Martin Bacoli?
That's my brother.
That's your brother. Okay, yeah, I've had him on the podcast a couple times. He's
Okay.
he's awesome. He's awesome. He's a great guest, man. Yeah, I've had him on. I've had him on a couple different times. Yeah,
Yeah, he's a peaceful spirit.
he is. He is. Yeah, he really is.
Uh-huh.
He really is. But nevertheless, man, an awesome heavyweight fighter though.
Yeah, he's not. He's not to be reckoned with. You
Right.
know, they're avoiding him, and for a reason. You know.
I agree with you. Yeah, I agree. And you know, and for a while there, man, Martin McCauley was built up to be the heavyweight or the boogeyman of the heavyweight division. But that one L that he was walking around with was courtesy of Michael, though.
Yes, correct. Michael took it on a whim last minute in his backyard for shitty money.
Yep.
And they, you know, the I guess the buzz in the gym was that Martin Bacoli was knocking out people in sparring,
Right.
and blah blah blah, which could have been true. So they added that up to that they'd knock out Mike. And you know, he took it, and you know, it was a reverse effect. Mike ended up stopping him and getting him out of there before anybody knew who Martin Bacoli was. And then, you know, he still gets advanced after Michael, and then people know him.
Right.
You know, so
right.
It happens that way for a hunter.
And so I don't know if you told me. So you got started boxing. How old?
He was doing it way earlier than me, for sure. I started, I would say, soul searching at 16, figuring out what, you know, there's a stigma in when you get in high school. What do you want to do? What do you want to be in life? You know, my dad never really put it on me at all. He would, you know, try to be a mechanic, be a lawyer, you know, use your brain. And naturally, you know, every time he did that, I just snapped right back to boxing. He would never stop me, but he'd try to veer me off of different courses. But once he seen that it was naturally something that I was going to do, then he, you know, he took it full on and supported it all the way through. You know,
I can kind of understand that, though. I don't know if anybody would want to go ahead and encourage somebody to be punched in the face for a living. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of get it. I kind of get his reservations about trying to steer you into a trade or a different, you know, it's understandable.
Yeah, correct.
You know, I mean, you know, I'm not so sure that, you know, I'm not so sure I'd be jazzed if my kid was coming to me and saying, "Hey, I want to sign up to be punched in the face a couple hundred times a night, you know, for a living." But you know, I don't know. And so, when you get into the sport, are you watching guys on TV? Are there any guys that you're wanting to emulate, or that you kind of put on that sports hero type of pedestal?
My father and my brother.
Sure. I mean, but outside of the family, I mean, like, were there guys that you were kind of like, "Oh man, I like what he does," or, you know?
I can only bring it back to, you know, my father's human, my father's person, who he really gravitated towards was, you know, Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
So I don't think that there's another character, there's another personality, there's not another heart, there's not another vibration or energy that stands for something outside of boxing, and at the same time just rooted in who they are, and you know, giving out messages. You know, none of these young kids and none of these people have added life experiences, and even if they do, you know, they're not able to talk in certain rhythms and frequencies and touch people's heart like Muhammad Ali. I emulate that within myself just because of my life experiences and how I've been through boxing in and out of life, you know.
Yeah, I do like the fact that, you know, that 9 times out of 10, anytime I ask people about their boxing Mount Rushmore or their own personal idols or any of that kind of stuff, you're never going to not hear Muhammad Ali. And I think it speaks to as much about what he did in the ring as who he was outside the ring, you know?
Correct.
I mean, I think that's where I almost think that's where he made his mark even more so, man, for the activist that he was and the humanitarian that he was. I mean, granted, he did great, amazing things inside of a boxing ring, but.
Crazy statistic I heard, I don't know how true it was, that he, at one point in the world, he was the second most recognizable face on this planet next to Jesus. Yeah, that's
wow.
That's how everybody was familiar with him.
Yeah. I feel like, I don't know, man. I feel like I see a lot of people walking around, though, that look like Jesus.
Well, Justin Bieber probably got him beat after some time.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. What about Elvis? Where's Elvis on that list?
Okay.
I'm sure he's
I don't know who said it, but I just remember, like, damn, that's a crazy statistic, even if that is true.
I mean, Muhammad Ali was pretty recognizable, though. I mean, he does cut a pretty imposing figure, though. I mean, he was like 6'3". You know what I mean? He obviously, he's the heavyweight champion of the world, for God's sakes. You know what I mean? You should know who he is. You know, I mean, I think that happens a lot in boxing now, man. Sometimes, man, we don't even know who our champions are. That used to be a lofty position right there, being the heavyweight champion of the world. But also, there's a lot of belts floating around right now, so there's a lot of different guys.
I was gonna say the same thing. There's so many belts divided; they don't know who champion is.
Right. You know? Right. And so, for you, man, you're 16-2 right now, man. 10 knockouts. So you've knocked out more of your opponents than you've gone to the cards. Maybe people would look on paper and say, wow, he's gotten more guys out of there than he's had decisions. But for people that haven't seen you fight, how would you typify or assess your style?
Well, I should have like 30-something fights. You know, I've gotten, I would say a felony in boxing by signing to somebody that's horrible. I'm not even going to put his name out there right now. We will go back. And then I would like to discuss and break down certain segments of my career, my story.
Sure.
But shoot the question one more time. I'm so sorry.
What would be a fair assessment of what your style is for people that haven't seen what you do?
I take after the traits of my lineage. We are, masterful boxers, moving our head and fighting off of angles, with charisma and a lot of confidence behind that. And, so I emulate. I am a pure boxer myself, but at the same time, I'm a bounty hunter. So I have a lot of aggression within me. I'm pushing. The best way I like to say it is within 30 minutes or 36 minutes of hand-to-hand combat with 60 seconds to breathe, which is 10 or 12 rounds.
Right.
If I'm in hand-to-hand combat with you for 30 minutes or 36 minutes, with 60 seconds to breathe, I'm always going to put us into a situation to where my lifespan or your lifespan will be decreased. It must be decreased for sure. If we live to be 100, I'm trying to shave it and you live to be 90. That's what I'm pushing for. Or you got to do that to me. You know, so at some point, all my fights are genuinely, get to that pinnacle point, and it gets interesting because I'm really trying to, legally take a person's life in there, and actually rewatch it when I get old. I have compassion and a heart in there, but I know what I signed up for. So, that's me in a nutshell as far as my style in boxing and how I mean it.
And are there guys currently in the sport? Like, I know that anybody at any given point in time could potentially be an opponent, but from a fan standpoint, do you watch a lot of boxing? And are there guys that are doing it right now that you currently enjoy watching?
I'm kind of tunnel vision into my own self and my own career, my own energies.
Yeah, but I respect that.
I do watch, the competition here and there. I do genuinely like boxing, so every now and then I'll watch it just to either refurbish or study, or that might be somebody I might be fighting or facing, but I'm not currently, looking at any fighter and keeping up with, them like that, as far as when they fight respectfully. I have friends and things, I'll always support them and as far as boxing and things like that. But, when you are in the, your own person, when you are, you know, in your own career and you're trying to elevate to the highest level, you know, I can't look left and right and be focused on other things. I'm just
Fair
focused
enough.
on Keith Hunter, you know.
Yeah. And so a statement that was made by Turkey Al Sheikh that I'm curious to see how boxers took it when he made the comment about the Tom and Jerry fights with people not where he doesn't want to see people running around the ring. As a guy that hasn't climbed through those ropes himself, how do you take that as a fighter? Because it almost seems like he's trying to impose his will and say, geez, I want guys in the middle of the ring that are going to have slugfest, you know, beat the piss out of each other, man, for my entertainment or for our entertainment, man. But there obviously are guys who started their careers early and they've adopted a certain style that you just can't break them of or change. You know, if they're a fighter that uses their legs and they move around, okay, there might be a certain demographic of fans that doesn't enjoy watching that is going to criticize that as not being fan friendly or fun to watch. But it is what it is, though. It's that particular fighter's style. Do you take umbrage with a statement like that?
Good question. I think that I get the vision that he has. Maybe he communicated it not the best way to the boxing fans. Or he can probably, watch a more violent sport, maybe UFC or whatnot. But I do get what he's saying. I think there's a balance there. On one hand, when you have a Shakur, he is a masterful boxer who's utilizing the ring, and he doesn't really engage all the time unless it's on a certain circumstances that favors him, which sometimes is boring to spectators.
Sure.
For his style. So for me, I think it is that balance. You got it's Matador and the Bull. Not everybody can be a bull. Not everybody can be a matador. Me as an individual person, I feel like I'm a bull. I'm a matador. I'm a matador. I'm a bull.
Right.
You box the fighters. You fight the boxers.
Right.
So, and then my heart, no matter what, like I said, at some point, I'm gonna box as much as I can. But at some point, we're fighting. I'm trying to take life. In there, I'm trying to take your life, or you have to try to take mine. Right. So I think that there's a I'm gonna utilize the ring and be a masterful boxer, but at some point I'm gonna try to press the line. I'm gonna try to press the issue of a fighter, and that's the way I would approach it. But as far as Turkey Ali, I don't I don't have anything bad to say. I understand he wants excitement. He wants excitement not only for himself, he wants excitement for the culture of boxing. And, that's his way or his idea or his vision that he can kind of communicate on a level that might bring back a certain in intensity or a certain involvement within boxing. And, it's his idea, I don't knock it. I understand it.
Sure. I do too. How about a guy like you strike me as a guy who's kind of got a throwback type of attitude, old school kind of outlook on boxing. Are you in favor of these Jake Paul type events? Are you a fan of his? Do you like what he does for boxing? He's another very polarizing figure.
Yeah, I know a lot of people do not like him in boxing, actually. Me personally, I support him. I have nothing bad to say against him either. He's brought. I remember when I was 16, nobody, I remember asking myself and as a freshman in high school, like, it was boxing something that is cool. I was the only person doing it in Vegas at a certain time at Cimarron Memorial out here in Las Vegas.
Right.
It was, I was kind of going against the grain. People were interested in other things. But since Jake Paul has came around, he has boosted the popularity of this culture that I've married as a kid. So once he brought a lot of spectators, and then you could see as a culture, I think that as a human race, that if we all just dabbled into some type of combative sports, not even on a competitive level, it does something to your character, to your respect. that you carry within yourself and other people, and it gives you a sense of peace, and it's a huge outlet. So I think that when Jake Paul did, transition into boxing, he made it relevant for a lot of other younger people of different walks of life to try this thing, whether they wanted to compete or not. And I think that we're all finding out, as much as you put in time into a hand-to-hand sports combat, it does have rewarding things to your character and energy. So
Yeah.
I support it. He's brought in a lot of people here, and I just love boxing, and whoever loves boxing, I connect with them on all types of levels. So I have nothing bad to say. And he's getting women in boxing paid $1 million, which he's taking care of behind the scenes. He's taking care of us. Actually, he hasn't taken care of me directly, but I respect the things he's doing. He's taking care of people, within boxing. So that's my take on it.
So, Jake, if you're reading between the lines, man, Keith is saying he's waiting for a phone call. He's waiting for a phone call. He's ready to be on a card.
Yeah, for sure. I've been trying to, whether it was against any of his signed people or trying to get on the team, I've been trying to, not really. I haven't really pushed my energy directly towards him. But, if it, when I get into a certain vibration of frequency or I accomplish something, he'll take notice. So, I'm not a groupie. I'm not a chaser. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it's okay.
Now, how does this fight with Albert Bell come about? Who reaches out to who? Whose team reaches out to who? How does this happen? I find this to be, for people that don't know or follow the sport on that type of level, I find this to be a very intriguing matchup, man. Yeah. I mean, like, Albert is certainly, from watching a lot of his fights, a very tactical guy himself. Not a heavy-handed guy. Not a guy who gets guys out of there. Not a lot of knockouts on his resume. I mean, that's a fair assessment. I mean, the numbers are what they are. How does this fight come about?
It was initiated by me. I'm a bounty hunter.
Okay.
We mutually followed each other. I think maybe for a year or something. We mutually, socially, was connecting. We're cool, cordial friends in a sense.
Yep.
And I seen that we mutually probably, had our eyes on each other in a sense of being competitive. He had accomplished, I think, everything that he felt like he wanted to accomplish at 130, and he had publicly said he's stepping up to 135.
Yep.
And I've already, I'm already one fight in at 35, and I think he's at one fight in at 135, to where once he said that, I respectfully told him that's where I draw the line with you at 135, because if you're in my way, if you're even trying to jump in my lane, I'm metaphorically, I have like a bomb strapped to my chest, and I'm trying to run into anybody that's gonna, I'm trying to run into everybody at 135.
Right.
So I can't play with nothing or nobody at 135. You are the opposition and you are my enemy for sure.
Yep.
So I probably a month ago, I jumped into his DMs on Instagram, and I say, we can lock in. What's up? And he actually had a heart. I'll be honest. He had a heart, and he said, "Let's go." And I said, "When? I'm ready now." Yeah. And he said, "Okay, let's get it going." Yeah. Well, he was working out, his fights. We just verbally mutually agreed. I knew I had promoters and people backing me behind the scenes as well. Probably not to his stage, but I have people backing me. So I was communicating and politicking with a few promoters and of my guys, and we were trying to set a stage and let it be in all fairness. And I was communicating that to Albert. But before I could get the stage set on my birthday, July 15th, I seen and I got the call that his opponent had pulled out on him. And I guess he was supposedly stepping in the ring with some other guy August 30th, and that he was scrambling for an opponent. Well, I had already mutually contacted him a month ago. We had already had this fight locked in. I was going to sell it at some point anyways. I think that what I'm getting paid and at the timing of this fight here, is, there should be a lot more money involved, definitely given to me. But, I'm not doing this for the money. And then, they're playing the safe route. They're taking no risk whatsoever, no money. And I'm invited into their backyard where the whole table is set for him. You get what I'm saying?
Sure.
If I did not go into this fight under those circumstances, then we'll get a bum, we'll get somebody else. But I want to fight bail. You get me? I want to ring Albert's motherfucking bell.
Yeah.
For goddamn sure.
Yeah.
So it's like, and I called for it. So I don't give a fuck where I'm at, on Mars, in his backyard, or we can do it in here, in 702. Right. So, he invited me over there. He's taking no risk, and I'm taking all the goddamn risk.
Right.
I'm going to jump his fucking fence, and we're going to get it. We're going to lock it in, and I'm going to dig a fucking ditch and dig a grave, and I'm going to stuff him in it.
I love that.
That's for sure.
Yeah, I love that. And now, without giving away too much of your game plan, for people that don't know, Albert Bell currently 27-0. He has not been beaten yet. Without giving away too much of your game plan, are there things that you have seen or studied in him that add to the confidence? Are there, for lack of a better term, are there holes in his game that you feel like you've seen?
Well, if you're not really a big puncher, you're not gonna really want to force the situation of decreasing my lifespan. So, or even if you're gonna force that situation, you're not capable of. So, I like a safe fight. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's easy money to me to get in there with somebody who is not a big puncher. But outside of that, there is an infinite variety of circumstances that will be placed upon us at any given time. And it is my job, in order to assess it at that moment in time, so I can see which angle and which tools that I need at that very moment. So, that would be my strategy, is being infinitely understanding the circumstances where I have the right tools available to me according to how I need to get my job done. That's my strategy.
And how do you prepare for a fight? Are you a guy that does a lot of watching of your opponents, or are you watching tape, as they say, or do you leave that up to your team?
That's a good question. I'm not upset. I think there's a balance is everything, and everything's within your balance. Yeah. I think that not that I think that, excuse me. If you know yourself and you know the enemy, you need not fear the results of 100 battles.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? If you know yourself, but you do not know the enemy, for every victory gained, you will also suffer a defeat.
Are you pulling out some Eastern philosophy on us here? I like it.
Yeah, when I was 16, I installed and programmed, The Art of War by Sun Tzu. And, if you follow certain laws and rules, you should never lose. Yeah. And if you do, you can figure it out and learn a lot. Yeah. So, you have to study, you have to know yourself in order to know your opponent. And when I do look at my opponent, I don't go obsessive. I'm not obsessively looking at all types of films, but, I can examine a certain films and take away a few things from what they're doing and add it up to a vision within my third eye that I have developed. And you can make a clear vision for yourself and about how you would approach, a style or something like that.
So you do seem like you are pretty, outside of having physical tools and physical abilities, you do seem like you approach, for lack of a better word, combat from a cerebral place too.
Yeah, actually, I've never put this on podcast. Before I really wanted to box at 16, I did want to academically pursue being a psychologist. I just like the mind and the way that it processes things going through obstacles and how it shifts. I genuinely like that. So I am probably manifesting it. I am going to write a book now that I'm reading more. I'm going to write a book about the psychology side of boxing for psychology. Yeah. So, I'm into it. I'm studying a lot. And I like to take it all in and be calculated as well.
I think there's a certain amount of boxing, and I think even boxers would agree. There's certainly a big mental component to it, obviously. Huge.
that I don't know the ratio, but yeah, they say it's like 70 or 80% mental and, you know, 20 or 30, you know, physical.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree that for sure that it's definitely more mental than physical. You know what I mean? You could teach a lot of the, you could teach a lot of the mental or the physical attributes. You could bring someone off the street into a gym and show them how to throw a jab, how to jump rope, you know what I mean? How to work a double end bag or whatever, you know what I mean? But the mental mindset, that doesn't come for everybody.
Thank you. I take that as a compliment.
You know what I mean? That's gotta be honed. That's gotta be honed. I mean, for a guy to want to say, because I think by nature, man, you get into the fight or flight thing. I think most people will do whatever they can to avoid a confrontation. You know, you guys are signing up to step between the ropes and actually go meet another man for an agreed upon fight. You know, I think by nature we want to avoid confrontations.
Yeah, you know, it says, I'm gonna drop another one on you. Supreme excellence consists in breaking the enemy's resistance without fighting. That is supreme excellency. If you can break a person's resistance without fighting, then that's the best route that you should always take.
Yeah, but you guys both seem like such affable guys. And again, I've had Albert on the podcast. Specifically, I want to ask you, are people able to mentally get under your skin, and where do you stand on trash talking or the build up to selling a fight? Like, what are your limits? Where do you draw lines? Obviously, we see a lot of shit fly off at press conferences, at weigh-ins. You know, it seems like it's the Wild West out there. You know, we're seeing Chris Eubanks smacking Conor Ben with an egg. I mean, where does it end? And you know, where do you stand on the art of trash talking, the art of the psychological part of the build up to the fight?
You know, I keep it authentic to myself. I don't think a lot of people can get under my skin.
Yeah.
But at the same time, within boxing, my boxing has molded my character. Whereas, you know, a lot of antics and things that people do within boxing, these guys are really kind of just clowns and, you know, not really authentically, truly themselves a lot of the times. Yeah. And that does bother me sometimes. To where I'm doing it on a strategic level, or I like to think I'm doing strategically, meaning like, you know, if I know the cameras are out and I'm a character now, and I mean what I say and I say what I mean, so I think people can feel that coming from me, to where if I have genuinely an issue with you, you know, I'm gonna let it be known on camera, and we're about to lock in, and we're about to see, you know, what's really happening out there. So nowadays, you know, I don't have such a big chip on my shoulder, you know, but I still do, you know, I'm still a hungry individual. I want success. I want, you know, everything that comes with this sport, whether it be good or bad. I just want my opportunity. I never had any handouts, and I never had my hand out.
Now, where do you feel like you are? If you don't mind me asking, how old are you right now?
I'm 33.
And so where do you feel like you are in terms of like your prime? Because obviously this has been debated for years. It used to be equated to a man who was in his prime athletically when he was young. But now we see so many guys competing older in the sport, you know, I mean, into their late 30s, into their 40s. You know, I think you become dangerous on a different level, you know, as you get older. You know, your physical and your mental start linking up. And where do you feel like you are at 33? You know, in your prime, maybe not even started your prime yet, in the midst of it. Where do you stand on that?
As an athlete, you know, doing anything, but more specifically boxing. We have a certain limited amount of time for sure to physically be able to do this. We are just, the way I see it, we are just cars. We're vehicles. I don't have a lot of miles on my vehicle, you know, because I should have 30-something fights, but I do not. I wasn't able to engage in combat, hand-to-hand combat in boxing the way that I would like to, and the times that I would like to, which has kind of gave me self-preservation. I think that time is a consequence to us humans physically, according to how you're experiencing it. If you're having a bad time, then 3 minutes seems like 3 years or 3 hours, you know? But if you're having a fun, good time in there, then 3 minutes seems like 30 seconds. You get what I'm saying?
Right,
And
right.
that is in life, not only in the ring. If you're having a good time in life, genuinely, then life goes by really fast, in a sense. But if you're having a bad time and a hardship in life, then you can see stress and depression and on people, and that stress is the number one killer. It adds up to you over time and accumulates to your physical being.
Right.
I don't look like anything of what I've been through, but the things I've been through, I've always carried a good heart, and I've always had this outlet that other people don't have, which is boxing. So anything I was going through in my entire life, I'd have boxing be my sanctuary for it.
Yeah. And so specifically goals in the sport, like obviously guys get in the sport and they set certain goals. Like I always use Pacquiao and Crawford, for instance. Pacquiao attained a lot over a lot of different weight classes. Bud Crawford, not as many weight classes, but he seems like it means a lot to him to gobble up the belts, unify, become undisputed at the weights he does stop at. So the different guys have different goals. Well, what would you like to achieve in the sport? What would your goals be? What would you like the legacy to be?
Man, that's a good question. I'm just limited due to time as well. Everybody's restricted. I think that, more than other people, especially me being 33, I'm going to go, I have 10 more years. If I'm feeling the way I'm feeling, I have 10 more years, a whole decade before I have to really give it up,
right.
But, as far as my accomplishments, I definitely want to be undisputed. I want to be pound for pound, but more than anything, I definitely want to touch people's hearts in the way of that no other fighters are currently able to do. The magnetic pull that I gather from, like I said, Muhammad Ali, I feel, that guy right there. And then Tupac, I'm not them and they're not me, but I realize that I carry a certain frequency that, I'm being put in the blender of life, being chopped up so many times. And I feel like I have the recipe, and I think I kind of have it right in certain aspects. I'm always growing just like everybody else. So I do want to just be whatever I'm going through within boxing, I just want it to be highlighted on a high platform within this culture called boxing, and people can get a feel. And I just want to cut time in half for anybody that's following my path. But I want the belts. I want the accolades. I want, but more than anything, I want my people who follow and look at boxing, to realize, I was an individual that worked hard and pursued in his dreams. And no matter anything of whatever I was going through, every day I showed up. I could not QUIT. I can't stop on a win, and I can't quit on a loss. I'm just going. I'm going. There's no, I've never even thought about, I can spell it, but I can't even say QUIT. It's perseverance within me.
And now, where do you stand now? It does seem like what I call, and I've heard other boxers come on the show and use the term as well, the Mayweather effect. For a while, it seemed like you couldn't be considered great if that O was not intact. Guys were really worried about preserving that O. And I think until Turki Al-Sheikh got here, I think it really was what was keeping a lot of big fights from happening. Everybody was really protective of that O. You have a couple losses on your record. You seem like you just roll with the punches, and you don't really seem like it affects you. And I'm starting to see a lot of the other young fighters come on here who have caught an L already, maybe caught 2 L's, and they're not really is upset about it as maybe was back during Floyd's day. Where do you stand on your losses? What would you like people to know about those losses? People that might say, hey, this guy is saying all the right things, man, but he has caught an L or 2.
I know that does suck, because having no losses does do something to your image, your quality of being a fighter, on the outside.
Then you look at a guy like Manny Pacquiao, though. He's got 8 losses, and you're not going to consider him not great,
Well, Muhammad Ali, who, Floyd didn't have that type of, energy that Muhammad Ali did, in good and bad. And he had a few, but that didn't deter people loving him and people respecting him, and him getting all the accolades that he wanted. You know, so for me, taking 2 L's, I lost more to the politics and the business side. Obviously, I did take L's, but if we were to roll a dice, and I was to get back in there that same night on both of them, I could have changed the fight completely to my narrative for sure. And I know and feel that within full confidence, and I can articulate it just as well. And it's on camera. You can look at it, and outside of my own opinion and of me, you guys can tell me what you guys think. So the reason why I felt like also I do have those two is because I haven't had the luxury of being in rotation. I haven't had the luxury of being able to fight the way that I want to. So I'm trying to take every one that I can at any time that I can. And a lot of times, I misjudge things within my own self more than, somebody being better than me. I just took it at not the best circumstances. Kind of like this. This is not the best circumstances, but I've learned heavily through these life experiences. So it's way more calculated risk that I'm taking. And, I want this fight. I know it's actually just good for boxing in general. If you follow boxing, you will know that this one is a real one for Bell, for sure. Not for me. And, it's even more interesting for me and more of a rewarding factor for me when I do go to his backyard and bury his fucking body in there. That's what's happening. I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks.
I love the
when
confidence.
It does happen and I bring these straps back to 702, that is manifested for sure.
I love that.
For sure, my vision and their narrative will for sure be sought out into reality. And when I get that done, they cannot deny me. I get more into a position within boxing that Shakur Stevenson, Tank is retired, whoever anybody is at 135, I would definitely like my time. I want my opportunities because I haven't had my hands out and I've never had a hand out.
So you did make mention earlier in the interview now about throwing your hat, into the ring, no pun intended, at 135. It is a very deep pond. There is a lot going on at 135 pounds. So, I know you certainly don't want to look past Albert Bell, but are there other guys in that division, without even dropping names or calling anybody out by name, man? Are there fights that you've already thought about the scenarios already in your mind of other guys that you would like to see?
Yes. Yep. I have a vision and a narrative towards the competition that I'm able to see, and I know myself. As a fighter now, being 33, I know the attributes that I carry and the attributes that I will carry in the future, to where, I do see myself being also a character, a person. Like if we were in a video game, they're missing a Tommy Hearns. They're missing Albert Bell. Ain't a Tommy because he don't carry the power like a Tommy. Right. So Albert Bell is his own person and his own man. Respect to him as well.
Yep.
And he has a huge heart. But you see me built at 135, and I carry artillery. So I am that character, that face, that is my own man as well. But similar to the Tommy Hearns perspective, I would say, I'm gonna throw one name out there. I would say Tank would be the Haggler, and I would be the Hearns. As you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
When I start stepping in 135, you will see this new, fresh character and personality and beam of light come alive.
Now, many people, though, as they get on in their career, obviously it's never difficult for fighters, to cut weight. Going from 140 to 135, it seems like it's a calculated move. Is there a reason behind it? Because most guys, when they get on in their career, aren't looking to shed weight. They're, a lot of guys are moving up. You know what I mean? Our body fills out. It's harder to drop weight or whatever. Obviously, you make a great point. 135 is loaded with talent. There's also a lot of talent at 140 as well, though. So, how did you arrive at that decision?
I kind of got advised to try it.
Okay.
And then, my body, I was always kind of a skinnier person growing up.
Yeah.
I've never carried a lot of weight ever in my life. So for me to kind of get down to 140 and then maintain my body weight at 140 so well, and then, to know my body enough to where I knew if I did and when I did and I did make 135, that I wouldn't be hungry or pressured or giving up. I'm not like, Keyshawn Davis, Devin Haney killing themselves, walking around $170, $180.
Right.
2 months whole out of eating nothing and then getting in there and dying.
Right.
That's not me. I'm the most I've ever weighed probably in my life is $160 ever. And I'm always probably walking around at like 47. That's where I'm walking around at. So I know easy. I'm in about 2-day notice. I can jump. It's harder for me to stack the weight than it is for me to cut it. Within a 2 or 3 day notice, I'm jumping up and down and for 5 pounds within 40 to 35.
So was there ever a question about maybe moving up to welterweight then, or was that not on the table?
That would be more later on because of I have to accomplish something here at 35 now that I'm here now.
Right.
Which is happening really fast.
Yeah.
I am going to take that step up to 140 and be dominant there. 147 is where I would bulk. You will see me bulk up.
Right.
For it.
Yep.
Okay. Sorry.
No, I got you.
You will see me bulk up at 140.
Yeah.
147. And that would, like I said, it's harder for me to accumulate weight as opposed to taking it and shaving it off. So, that's where I'm going to take some time jumping from 40 to 47. Because if these 35 pounders are walking around 70, $170, in some extreme cases, $180, imagine what a 47 pounder is walking around. You get what I'm saying? I'm a very fit and strong guy.
Yeah,
but, I want to carry my artillery up to 47 as well.
And so how active would you like to be the rest of the year? Like, you get past the Albert Bell fight in August. Will we see you in the ring again in 2025?
I'm trying to get in wherever I can fit in. Okay. Yes, you will definitely. After I ring Albert's bell in his backyard, ding, ding, ding.
Okay.
After I do that, more than ever, especially after me getting the 5th round knockout at 135, my phone was going off the hook. I could have got in there within 30 days after my last fight, but I did hurt my right hand in my last fight, and I had to kind of let it rest. And then the timing of things for me, things didn't fall through until just now. Right after I take care of Albert Bell, if now what is accessible to me, which wasn't accessible to me in my earlier stages of my career, is the fact that everybody is spamming me for fights. So I will be back in there right after I ring Albert's motherfucking bell. Okay,
fair enough. And have you given any thought to to what life after boxing looks like when you hang up the gloves? Are you a guy that is interested in other endeavors, or will you keep a foot in the sport? Are you interested in promoting or coaching or training or anything?
That is a good question. I don't have a preset answer for that one.
Okay. Playing it by ear?
Huh?
Are you kind of playing it by ear?
Right now, in this moment, I'm freestyling it.
Yeah.
When I was 16, I said I didn't, I truly meant it, and I don't have a wife or kids yet.
Yeah.
And I'm ready to live or die for boxing. So my whole entire life is boxing. I didn't see, now I do, but I didn't see, especially then, my vision, life outside of boxing was, I don't see a life out if there is no boxing in my life.
Yeah.
I don't know where and who I would be, to some degree, if I wasn't stuck to this culture that I married at 16. So now, I don't have no wife or kids, but I do want to give back, to this culture, with the life experiences that I know only Keith Hunter has, and I can articulate it in a certain level that which other people can't. So you will see me stick around. I would probably be taking breaks because of how, frustrating it is,
Sure.
navigating through this ugly sport.
Yeah.
So I'm not able to, definitively say where I'm going to be or what I'm going to do. I just know I'm going to be in a very good place in my life, financially, spiritually, and mentally. And I will be, you guys will probably connect with me, maybe not so much socially, but, for the ones who appreciate and give me my flowers and love me now, those are the ones that I'm going to keep around more than just putting things on social media,
Right. Yeah, I get that, man. Listen, man, I've done 260 of these episodes, man. Fucking this one's gonna rank up there high for me, man. I really enjoyed the conversation, man. Really, man. Had a blast, man.
This one was a good one for my energy. I didn't expect to be able to get in synchronicity like this.
I
it was a
appreciate
real
that.
cool
You know what,
one.
man? I think I'm coming into my own as a podcaster. I'm feeling confident too, champ. I'm feeling confident too. I'm starting to hear that a lot, man. And it really does my heart good, man, because a lot of people say, they'll text me afterwards, man, that one was a good one. That one was a good one. You know what I mean? So I guess I'm learning a thing or two about this podcasting thing too. I mean, it's about
I want to do it, but personally, that's another thing. I do want to start a podcast of my own for myself, and maybe we can be in partnerships.
I would love it.
At some point in the future, I would definitely.
I would love it because I've done 260 episodes, but the first 160 of them I co-hosted with my son, and then it got very hard for him because he has 4 children. So I would be here in my studio. And like, let's say we were having this conversation, he would also be in this room too, but he would always be out in his car because it's the only place he could get any peace from the kids. You know what I mean? So
I got you.
So eventually he kind of had to peel back because it was very hard. Like when you're in the middle of an interview and kids are knocking on the car window, or you know what I mean? So it got a little difficult, but I mean, he still has a lot of passion for the sport. He'll jump in occasionally, like when he can or whatever, man. But we're actually going to Pennsylvania this weekend. A friend of ours who's been on the podcast a few times is fighting. We're actually going down and trying our hand at commentating.
Damn, that's what's up.
Yeah, that's kind of new for us. And when I say commentating, I don't mean like it's just audio. It's a small production or whatever, man. So it isn't like we're going to be like Jim Lampley and Larry Merchant or anything like that. You know what I mean? It's going to be strictly audio, man. But I think with our knowledge of the sport and having watched so many fights and seen so many fights being called, I'm hoping that we'll be able to hold our own and do it and do successfully.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm here. I would definitely, like I said, want to get down together and have a partnership of some kind.
Absolutely. Sure, yeah, I would love it. And I'm sure you obviously have a lot of inroads too with other fighters, where like me, I've kind of built this thing from the ground up. So, I've had to run down a lot of people. And I look back on the episodes, and it is crazy that I've had the people on here that I've been able to find, because I don't have I don't have a tie to the sport as far as like somebody that I can just tap, you know what I mean, and say, hey, get me this person, hey, get me that person, you know what I mean? I'm not, I'm not fighthype.com, or I'm not ESPN or something like that, where I can just reach out and just get people. And yet I look back on the episodes and I think, damn, I've had Shushu Carrington, I've had James Toney, I've had your brother, I've had I've had Keyshawn Davis, I've had and then I've had a lot of young up and coming guys too, which that's where I get the most excitement. I love having the OGs and the legends on, but having the guys that are the future of the sport, 10 fights, 12 fights, that excites me. I like seeing where the sport's going to go and who the future champions are going to be. It's nice to know the sport is in good hands. There's a lot of great young fighters out there that are going to be good ambassadors for the sport, good heads on their shoulders. You know what I mean? Like, just really good young men, outside of good athletes, just good young men. Boxing's going to be okay. Boxing's going to be okay. It is.
It's shifting all the time.
It's shifting all the time, and it certainly has its characters in the sport that kind of poison the well a little bit, man. But I think there's enough good eggs out there that kind of balance that out, though. Thankfully.
Yeah, really well put, for sure.
Yeah. But I appreciate you coming on here, man. I really enjoyed the conversation, man. Got your number now, man. We'll definitely set something up. At the very least, I would love to have you on even like once or twice a month, and we'll just even correspond or something. You know what I mean? Like you come on here when I have other fighters on, and chop it up with me, help me co-host a few episodes. I would love that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I gave you my direct line, so
I got it.
Now that you have that, you have hit me anytime.
I'll stay in touch for sure, man. And I wish you a lot of luck in August. For people that want to tap into that fight, man, where can they watch it? Do you have any information?
I'm going to his backyard. I put it on my poster. It will be at the Huntington Center. I think it's on. I know Albert Bell is connected with OTX. So
okay.
I think it might be on there or the Zone. Possibly.
The Zone will probably have it.
I don't want to definitively say that, but I will in the future on my social media at Bounty Hunter the Third. At Bounty Hunter the Third. Yeah. On Instagram, and if you guys lock in with me there, then I'll put more details where you can watch it.
Yeah, these people know how to work their computers. Come on, people. Be resourceful, man. Do your digging around. You'll find it, for God's sakes. We can't hold your hand. Me and Keith can't hold your hand in life. I mean, for God's sakes, figure it out, people. Figure it out.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a social media, man. Just Google Keith Hunter versus Albert Bell, and you'll find out what you need to know. Come on, people.
For sure.
I appreciate you, though, man.
You're going to find out.
Yeah, just let your fingers, just like they used to say with the yellow pages, let your fingers do the walking, man. You'll figure it out.
Ooh, I like that. Okay.
You know what I mean? I'm probably dating myself with that reference because there's not even phone books anymore, but I mean.
No, hey, look, old school is, for me, old school is cool. It's a lost art. It's a lost.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It is a lost art, man. But I appreciate you, man. It means a lot you coming on here, man. Really.
How am I able to get this, see it, share it, all that?
Yeah, so I'll probably have it up for sure by tomorrow, and then I'll send you the link, and you can spread it around for sure.
Okay, yeah, because I want to see. I want to definitely see.
Yeah, and I'll certainly shout out current super middleweight contender Ezri Turner, whose episode will probably also be up, and you will see a cameo appearance from Keith. Because he jumped into that one, because he jumped in a little prematurely. So, and I probably won't be able to edit that out. So I'll make sure that I tell Ezri, hey, Ezri, you're probably going to have a guest star in your episode named Keith Hunter.
No, that's cool that you have him rolling in like that. I made that mistake, my guys. So you're not the only one.
I usually don't have him rolling in, man. But I understand that I went a little long with Ezri, and I kind of didn't get back to you. I saw you blowing up the phone, and I thought, damn, I should probably tell him, man. All right, man, to tap in 5 minutes. But thankfully, I was done talking with Ezri. I was doing my little outro and saying, hey, make sure to tap in with us on Facebook and I'm, and then you popped in, and then I said, give me a couple more minutes or whatever, you know what I mean? But you know what, man? I leave all that shit in there, man, because I don't really know how to edit that good. And you know what? I leave it in for posterity's sake. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it holds value for sure.
It holds value. It holds value, and hopefully Ezri will see the humor in it.
That's what's up for sure.
If he doesn't, too bad, man. Then we'll start a fight with you two. No, I'm just kidding. I appreciate you though, man. A lot of fun talking to you, man. Thank you.
Man, likewise, man. Yeah. I'll definitely stay locked in with you, man.
I appreciate it. As soon as we get off, I'll send you a link to the past episodes.
Yeah. Okay, that works. Yeah. I'll look into them.
All right. Appreciate you, Keith. Thank you, man. We'll talk again soon, my friend.
Likewise, most definitely. Right. Thank you. Signing out.
All right, later, brother.
Couch, not on the couch. Let's go. Don't
get off the couch.
Slow and a bum.
Thank you, Keith.
All righty.
Later, brother.
Yep. All right, brother.
And there he goes, folks. Keith, the bounty hunter, moving down to 135 pounds and locking horns with Prince Albert Bell on August 30th. I am really looking forward to that one. Looking forward to it even more now that Keith was on there hyping it so much, man. I mean, some strong words, but he looks determined. Looks like he's going to back him up. And, no disrespect to Albert Bell, who I've had on the show a couple of times. This is going to be a good one, man. I think, it might fly under the radar for some boxing fans that like the bigger fights, as we like to call them in the sport, the casuals. But this is one you want to lock into. This is a boxing fans fight right here. It's going to be a good one. August 30th. Do your homework. Check out on social media where it's going to be. Sounds like it'll probably be on the Zone. Keith the Bounty Hunter, Prince Albert Bell. gonna be a good one. Make sure to tap in. And that was a great conversation, man. So much insight, so much perspectives, so much really digging. That's what it's all about, folks. We're bringing back conversation, good old-fashioned conversation. It's a lost art, and we are bringing it back. That's what we do here on Off the Couch Boxing, man. We're all over the board with it, chopping it up about this, chopping it up about that. You never know where we're going to go, man. But it's always going to be good, always going to be enlightening, man. And we're always going to have a good time, some laughs. And we're going to learn a lot, too. And we did. We learned a lot about the inner workings of boxing, the inner workings of Keith Hunter, the mental side of boxing, man. We chopped it up about a lot, man. So that was a great conversation, and we'll have Keith on here again, man. And I would love to work out something with having him pop on here, here and there, correspondent, guest co-host. We'll figure something out, man. But we have not heard the last of Keith Hunter, man. New friend of the show, new friend to Off the Couch Boxing. Real honor having him on. Make sure to tap into Off the Couch Boxing on Facebook. You'll get updates on new episodes when they're dropping, who will be on those episodes, and any other big boxing news. If it's popping off in the fight game, your boy Reckless Rex will have you informed. And so you can tap into Facebook, Off the Couch Boxing, and Podscum. Both of my podcasts, one Facebook page. You'll get news and updates on both. And of course, if you're here on the channel right now, like, subscribe, smash that notification bell. This is where you really need to be. Y'all know what we do, the most amazing and real boxing conversations anywhere on planet Earth with your legends, your luminaries, your world champs, and your fighters on the rise. They come here to chop it up with your boy Reckless Rex, man. So get tapped in, stay tapped in, smash that subscription and notification button, man, and make sure to keep it locked in on Off the Couch Boxing, proving once again why we are the undisputed, undefeated heavyweight champion of boxing podcast. Check the playlist. Like I always say, there's something for everybody. You will not be disappointed. 260 past episodes, a lot to sink your teeth into. Go check it all out. And you too can be a champion. That's the good news here. You too can be a champion. I know that I'm the undisputed, undefeated heavyweight champion of boxing podcasters, but I'm letting you know that you too can be a champion. And the formula is very, very simple. All you got to do is continue to stay tapped in to Off the Couch Boxing and continue to roll with the champs. Peace.